Hi fellow enthusiasts, welcome to my channel. Let's go into today's video and we're going to come back at the end to wrap it up. In continuing this work on web chat application, let's just fix something here. So this is chat, not bat. All right, so here we're going to have our text message, sent messages displayed and received messages displayed in this chat body. And then this will be where we compose our texts, and that will be the button to submit it. So we can style this a little bit to look a little bit better. So you can see we're using text area, not just regular input, but text area. So we'll define the area of the text. So now it's stretchable, resizable. So we're going to remove this resizing so it doesn't move around. And then so to do that, it's pretty simple. So first of all, the message we're displaying here, sent message and received message. We can style it a little bit better too. We can have a call out for that. So we've created the style. So let's just show that in the style for the text area. So here we have the text area. All right, so I'm gonna remove the all right, so that's the text area. So we've given it the resize is none, so the stretching area here is removed. We put a margin and a padding, and then we put border radius. So that means the corners, if I reduce this radius to 1, you can see it's almost square angled 90 degrees, but when I put 10, you can see it's smoother. If I make it more, you can notice the shape. So you use whatever number that works for you. So let's use just 10 for now. We're going to do the same for the button. So button area, we have the border radius as 5. We can make it 10 as well. You can see it more pronounced. Then the height of also is there. For the messages that we are sending and receiving, we can, you see it has an ID, so we can design that as well. So for the send, we've given it pretty beautiful design. And so we have the top radius, top both left and right at 10 degrees, and the bottom we have only the left at 10 degrees and the right at 0. So it's kind of pointing out at that corner. We did the same thing for the receive. So let's hide this one here and let's put more text inside so it's more visible what we did. So let's do this. All right, that doesn't work. We need to put more texts. Okay, let me just type something intelligible. Let's put more text here to get a double line. All right, so it's, as you see, it's expanding. You know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna copy this and paste it multiple times. Copy, paste, paste, paste. All right, so as the text is growing, the text area or the received text area is growing, you can notice that the corners are more rounded for the 2 top corners and 1 bottom corner, but the left bottom corner is still sharp. So it's a received message. Sent message will be more pointed towards the right. So let's look at that. I'm just gonna undo some of this, just too many. All right, let's do that for this other side as well. Okay, same idea, same logic. Now let's make the angles more pronounced. So let's make this 100. You can see that easily, right? So we're gonna give it a 10. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go over to Sublime Text, copy this over, and just try to create this as a whole because we want to host this chat application. All right, so let's go over to the Sublime Text and see how we're going to combine all this in one, because we need JavaScript. We can write a JavaScript here, no doubt, but we want to host this application on the website and we want people to be able to access it. All right, so to do this, I will go on our Sublime Text and I've created a folder called admin chat, and in that we have the index.php. Within that is our HTML. So let's look at it. What we did earlier on in the second video, part of the video, was we created this admin chat where we have a server sent event. So the server is sending an event, and the client is listening for that event. So here we have JavaScript. Here's our script, and this script is listening for an event called new event. Remember this from the second part of the video, and this is being sent from the server. The server is sending an event called new event. When this is sent, the client is receiving whatever logic here. This is heavily commented, so ignore the comments, just look at the main codes. Right, so let's just go back to that index and you see what we did here. So we have declared that our style is coming from style.css, and our JavaScript is coming from script.js JavaScript. So, and then once you launch the application, the chart will display on the top. Let me bring that back up. So it will display on the top, so we don't need these ones for now. So on the top it will give you a message there, and then this will have one of your most recent message, the latest message will be displayed, and then you can enter new messages. Alright, so let's go back there. So in the body, when you launch the application, you're going to see welcome to HackerWorld, an admin will be with you soon or shortly. Let's change it to shortly. An admin will be with you shortly. So that message is what we're going to see at the top of. Let's launch that. So let's do localhost. Remember, we have the XAMPP running, so we're going to enter a username. So guest, let's just call ourselves guest. So please enter a guest name. Guest, okay. We can call it whatever we want. So here it tells you welcome to HackerWorld, and admin will be with you soon. Right, so I think we updated it to shortly, but we didn't save it, so we need to save it. Each time you make a change in HTML, you have to save it, otherwise it won't display, of course. Alright, so that's it. An admin will be with you shortly. So let's send a message. Thanks, I'll be waiting. Alright, so once you do that and you click on submit, the message will pop up here in a few seconds, and it will have the alright, something happened, we didn't see the message. Let's inspect this and find out why we didn't see the message. Console, do we see any errors? We didn't see any errors. Okay, obviously there's an error, but we don't see the message, we don't see the error. Okay, let's just go through this one more time. Alright, so when let me try to run it in Firefox and see if there's an error. Localhost admin chat guests. Okay, let's just give ourselves guest 1. Guest, thanks, I'll be waiting. So something happened with the something happened with our Chrome, so we're going to figure out what happened with the Chrome. This works with Firefox. Alright, Firefox. Alright, so let's go back to Chrome and inspect, find out what happened with our Chrome. Guest one. Alright, Firefox, so what's happened? Okay, we don't know what happened, but it's working now. So okay, maybe that's a delay in the server or something like that, so we can hide this and show it one more time. Okay, let's go back to our chart. So at the top we're displaying this, and in the body we're saying, hey, somebody will be with you shortly. Now, how does this work? How does this application work actually? Remember the text area, we have a place where I will say compose your message. Here you can say your message here. You can just do it like this. Right, there are 4 rows and 45 columns, and the ID for this is text. We've created that in our CSS, in our style. So these are all the styles. For displaying the message, we have these two, right? And then for the toggle at the top, we have this pointer. So we just say cursor pointer. So let's show that. At the top here, this is the toggle, so we can hide this chart and we can show it again. So hide and show, hide and show. How we did this was we used W3 Schools. So right here on W3 School, there are so many tutorials or lessons to learn here. So we created a function and we'll get the element by ID. We give it our ID. Our ID in this case is toggle, and we'll say when you click on it, if it is equal to none, then block, else put it to none. Right, and then also we put other information here. So I'll go back and show you. Before that, also the outline of the text, we call the outline, we give it a size in pixels, and then we give it a color. Right, and what do we have here? All right, here is just to see how to reference your style sheet. Right, go use W3 Schools. It's really great to learn. All right, so let's go back here and see what we did. From W3 Schools, we're able to do this portion. All right, and also for the pointer at the top, where is it? Right at the bottom. It's called ID. The ID is toggle, and in the style, the toggle has just one parameter inside, and that is that it's a pointer. Right, so the cursor is a pointer. We have a pointer at another place, and that will be at the submit. So in this other input, the ID for this input is send. So if you look at the style, send will also have a pointer. Let's look at it. Yeah, send also has a pointer. So when you go here, you can see when you hover around the submit button, it will change to a pointer. So it tells you can do something with it. So here, just the text, you go in here and you type your message. Thanks, Hacker. All right. Once you hit on that it will be submitted, and you're gonna see it here in a while. All right. So my Chrome is delaying a little bit. Guess because do I have the same username? I don't think I have the same guest names. Thanks. Alright, I don't have the same guest names, but for some reason my Chrome is delaying. Chrome delays. You know the username I'm using by what it says here. Guest says Chrome delays, and then on our Firefox it says guest one. Thanks. Alright, so let's just go and look at the codes one more time. So we have the server. This is what happens at the server. At the server, I'm going to open it fully. At the server, when I start the session, remember you have to have these two. Remember from the second video, you have to have these two at the top, and then we just echo this event so that whoever is listening for this new event will receive our message. Otherwise, they won't. I'm going to show that one more time, and then here. We are trying to get this data, so find data from repo.txt, which is this guy here. So the information that we're displaying is coming from this repo.txt. This is our repository where all our information is entering. If we're doing this on a maybe like a SQL or any other PHP my admin, then this will be our database. The messages will be stored here and will be retrieved from here. So we're getting this text, and then we're trimming that text to remove all the empty spaces, and then we're creating an array. And then once we create the array, we're taking the last entry of that array, and when we take that last entry, we ask ourselves a question, and that will be if, where is that, here, last line. If last line is not equal to last line, so the last line from the previous session, if they are not the same, then it is a new last line. So here you're determining the last line or the last entry, and then you're checking if it was different from the previous last entry. If it was, then echo that. We need that last line. Send me that last line. Send it to my data. Remember, when we echo our data, is always data colon. Then we put whatever information we want to put there. So we're saying, if you got a new last line, echo it, and then we're telling it if it's a received message, then the ID will be received, and if it was a sent message, the ID will be sent. So you can use the right call out for that. I'll just change this a little bit, put an E to it just so it's different, and I put an E here as well. You can put any character just to change it up, and then when you go back to your client, you will notice this one will be now guest 3. You will notice that the messages will be plain. There won't be the call outs. So let's say hello. You won't see the call outs. The message just goes there plainly as hello, no call out. And you can see the cursors are pointing here. So no call outs. How are you? Again, there won't be any call out. It will just send the message as plain as that. Why? Because we don't have we don't have any style with that ID. All right, we don't have any style with the ID of send E and receive E. So we're going to change it back to what it was. So remove this and then remove that E as well, and save one more time, then refresh. Guest 3, we know it's still guest 3, right? Okay, so now you can see the call out is being used, the appropriate call out is being used. Thanks. All right, so this is what we want to show today. Let's examine this code a little bit more. So in our script, and let's look at the script, message entry. Let's look at all the files that we have in this folder. So for message entry, when the session starts and first the text is blank, but then you are looking for a message, and also looking for if the session is set, right? If the session is set and there is a message, so you're gonna say username, whoever the person is that is in that session. You display the name, and then you put a colon, and then whatever they said. So you can put a comment, you can put anything here. Let's say the user, so that will be guest 3 says, let's just use this says. So guest 3 says, or whoever the guest is says, save, and then we're gonna look at it quickly. So let's make this guy guest 4. All right, so, and now thank you, thanks again. All right, so it says, it will say guest 4 says thanks again. I needed to have a gap between guest 4 and says, so let's put a gap. I'll just put a space here. Guest 4 says, that's all we need to do. Then we'll save it again, and we run it one more time. Guest 5 now, just to avoid confusion, right? So guest 5 now, thanks. Guest 4, you're right, guest 5 says thanks, guest 4. So what happens is when the message is received, we are writing to the repo, right? We're writing to that repo.txt, and this f open is just the PHP format of opening a file. So we're opening this file and binding it, and then we're saying write this text. So f write is just to write the text to that handle, and then we close the handle, and then we exit. So each time there's a new entry, we take the name of the person that signed into the session, and we append what he anything you want. We don't really want to put anything, we just want to put column. So this user, then what he said will follow, right? So we have that. Now we take that text, that's the value of our text now, and then we write it into the repo.txt. So we open this handle and binding it to this handle, and then we writing the text to it, and then we just close that, we exit, right? So we do this often. And what happens then is when I read a message, my server is constantly reading from that repo.txt, right? Is reading from that repo.txt. It will get all the files from there, create an array, and when it creates the array, it will take the last line, the latest entry, and compare it with the previous last entry of the last session. If they are the same, it will do nothing. If they are different, then it will echo that data out and append the appropriate call out, if you will, to it, the appropriate text call out for it. Now there's another if condition here. It will check, first of all, it will check if it's the last time, but it will also check if the person in this session was the one, if the message was coming from him. If the message was coming from him, then use it. So we should have done this upside down. So if it's coming from him, then he's the sender. So let's change this up. So he's the sender, and if the message was not coming from him else, he's the receiver. Now this doesn't work very well because this is a very simplistic chat application. What we're going to do is in the next chat application, in the next web chat application we're going to create, we're going to have a proper SQL chat application where we can distinguish between the sender and the receiver. Hello all. So right now this is a very basic simplistic app. This can be used for a group chat where there is really no demarcation, or there's no secrecy, let me put it that way, so everybody can chat with everybody, because whatever you enter here, the other people on the chat on the server can receive the message. So right here, thanks. So everyone on this server is just talking to themselves. All right. So all the people on the server, you send a message, just tells you who said what. Guest says thanks, guest 6 says hello all, and that's also who said what. But basically it's just open, right? So you can use it as an admin to talk to a client. Very simple application. I can send you the code if you need this. I'll just embed it on your website. I will show you maybe in the next video how to host this on a shared server. So right now I'm hosting it on a XAMPP on my local computer, so I have to have my XAMPP running, but in the next one probably I'll show how to host on XAMPP, how to set it up, install and set it up, and then also show how to host it on a shared server like your cPanel and so on, if you're using Bluehost or GoDaddy. I'm using GoDaddy, so I think I'll advertise for GoDaddy. I have not used Bluehost, but I know GoDaddy is really great, so go on GoDaddy and sign up. They're very great, very cheap server, so you can take one for hosting. So hosting as little as $6 a month, right? But you can also, if you want me to host for you, I can host for you for cheaper. But anyways, still hosting it on GoDaddy. But I want you can sign up for yours, so it's okay. So here we have the application, so I can chat with people that are sharing the same network with me right now, but then you can put it on a host, a shared hosting plan, and you can chat with people from anywhere in the world, but everybody will be seeing what everybody is saying. In the next one, we're going to create a different chat application where, using the same principles, at least for creating the user interface, we're going to create an application where you can have a friend list, like we talked about in the previous video. So as we talked about in our first video, we're going to go to this one that has friend list, so you can have your friends listed and then your chats will be private. Right now on the admin chat portion, the chat is public. Everybody on that chat can see what everybody is saying. Next time we're going to look at the friends chat application. All right, so I'll just review the code a little bit more. Let's look at the CSS style. All right, so there's something I did with this style that I think I want to just highlight a little bit, and that is in the body, in the container. So in the container, I'm gonna try to float it to the right. So something is wrong with this code. I'll I'll see why this didn't work. Maybe I didn't use the right syntax, but or maybe the right entry there, but let me just remove that. So I put the background as gold, but then I put the border, the outline of the chart is red. You can use any color you want, so we can change it to outline, let's say solid red. Let's make it gold, and yeah, the background doesn't really matter. We can make it black because it's not really showing, it's hidden. So let's do that and refresh. This one is going to be guest 7. I've lost my count, so let's just call him guest 7. Alright, you can see the outline is now gold. Alright, it might not be very visible, but I can make sure that that is very visible. So let me change this to 5. I think 5 should be fine. Save. Alright, let's refresh. It should be a little bit bigger. Guests. Now I remember my count. Guest 7. Alright, you can see it's more pronounced, right? Okay, so and some of the browsers have some issues. I don't know what it is, but for, let's make this guy guest 8. For Firefox, it does seem that the text area is spilling over, but they are all four rows. So there's something with Firefox about compatibility. I don't know what it is, but there's something with Firefox. But then also there's something with Chrome. The first message doesn't show right away. You can see on the Firefox it shows the last message, the previous message. I think it's about the loading time. Yes, I think it's about the loading time, because let's inspect this and we're going to inspect and then reload. Inspect, and then we're going to go to console and then reload. This guy just be guest 8 for us. And okay, so you can see layout was first before the page is fully loaded. I think that's what is happening with Chrome, because the page was not fully loaded. It doesn't display the previous message. So let me go on Chrome and refresh and inspect at the same time. Inspect. Alright, so I need a console, and let's just reload. Guests, if this was 7, so we're gonna put it back at 7. Welcome guest 7. Violation, ready state change handler took, alright, 1000, now almost 2 seconds. Alright, so there's something going on here. So by the time it finished loading, and I think that's probably affecting it, it doesn't, that's why it doesn't display the last message. But new message, okay, it says new message, so it's just the previous message that doesn't load, I guess because of how long it takes to load, because of that violation. Thanks. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the code. So that's what we did for the container. So you can make it to float on any side that you want. Try to play around with that. We can check the W3 schools as well for that. And then on the top we have the color. The text color will be white. That's what you see when you open the application. The text color is white. So you can I can send you this code if you need that. Right, so that will be it for admin chat application. Again, in our next video we're going to show how to host it on XAMPP and also on our shared hosting portals like GoDaddy. Alright, so you see how I have different files for the application. So the first one remained as simple as possible, just like what we started with last time. We kept it that simple, and then we just added our styling sheet and the JavaScript on different tabs, and we call them from within the header tag. We call those other sections, and then within each one, So within the server, for instance, we called our database. Let's just call it our database. We called it from there. We referenced it from within there. And then from the script, from the JavaScript, we also referenced our server. So when you invoke one, then it invokes the other. There are so many functions you will notice within this JavaScript. One of the functions that you will notice is this one here that returns document.getElementById, and then it gets the element. Whatever you put here is what it gets here. So we use that to simplify the code. That's why you see everywhere you have underscore underscore underscore. We just replacing the get element by ID. Instead of typing it everywhere, we run this function once and then we just put underscore. So you're going to see many of them throughout this code. 1 2 3 up here, and then you're gonna see another one here, and then yeah, so that's for the toggle. So we took this code from W3 School and just modified it a little bit. We changed the ID to be our ID, which is the container, and then we use this to toggle the value of the button. So the button, the ID of the button is called toggle, and then we just say the value is hide chart, else the value is show chart. So when you go there, you see the button shows hide chart. When you click on it, the chart is hidden. You can just do whatever you want to do. It's not blocking your view, it's not there. And then when you click on it again, it shows keeping all the charts. So we did this with the knowledge we got from W3 schools, which is right here, this one here. So try it yourself. If you did try it, it's gonna hide that division and then it's going to show it again. So we use this knowledge from W3 School to improve the performance of our application. So you have it right there. And what again is important, right? So when you launch this application, it will call the style sheet and it will also call your JavaScript. Your JavaScript here, when the JavaScript loads up, the first thing it does is to call this function. So first of all, it will ask you to enter welcome to admin chat, enter a guest name. Once you enter the guest name, and it's assigned the username as the new user, which is what we got from here. So it took that and assigned whatever name you entered to that new user. Once it says that the username is the new user, once that is done, it will call this function start chat. It will call start chat, which is this portion. This portion of the code then will invoke the server, and then it will start listening for this new event from the server. Once the chat starts, it will start listening to the server for new messages from the server. You can delay how often it goes back to the server to check, or you can just leave it to run at default. Now, when you send a message, when you click on send a message, a send chart, that's the submit button. It will take the message that you have entered and call the message entry, which is this function here. It will call this message entry. This message entry takes the chat, the message that you entered, appends your name to it, and then just writes it to the text repo, which is our database. All right, so script. And then that's it. The last function here is just the toggle chart to hide and unhide the chart. So used to hide and unhide chat. All right, so this one is used to send a message, composed. Now here I had this alert because when I was creating this code, I want to debug and see when the function enters here, so I left it there. Alert, click chat has been clicked. Now launches the server .php server launches the server. Okay, let's just leave it like that. So this is what happens. All right, thanks for sticking around to the end. That'll be it from us today. Please, if you have not subscribed, do so right now, and don't forget to like and share this video. Until we come your way again with more contents, stay enthused.